YouTube, Joseph Ulmer here, and this video is going to be the first video in my Automotive Basics series, which is going to be basic general maintenance items that you guys can do yourselves in your driveway. And I'm going to show you how to do them easily and safely with basic hand tools that if you don't have, you can buy a small tool set from Harbor Freight or Walmart or anywhere, and you can do these general maintenance items with a small basic tool set. You don't need anything special, no specialized tools. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put a battery in a vehicle. The vehicle that I'm using today just happens to be a 1999 Ford Ranger. So while I'm getting the camera set up for that, do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the subscribe button, please don't forget to rate the video. When it's all over with, hit the little notification bell. That way you get post notifications for all my upcoming videos. And as always, guys, if you have any questions about anything I'm doing, please drop it in the comment section and I will do my best. I try and answer as many of the questions I have in the comments as quickly as I get them. That way, if you guys have something you need some information about, I can get it back to you. And if I don't know the answer to the question, I will do some research and try and find it. So guys, hang in there just a second, hit the subscribe button. I'll be right back. Okay guys, hopefully you have a pretty good view here. This battery is done, it's shot, it's been shot. This battery was marginal when I got it. It's not the right battery for this truck. But long story short, I'm getting ready to sell it. I'm putting a brand new battery in it for the brand new owners, whoever decides to buy it. Now, anytime you're putting a battery in anything, you always disconnect the negative battery cable first, which should be black and red, but some vehicles both cables are black, so you need to look at the top of the battery, and most of the time somewhere in this area, which I cannot see on this battery, there's a positive, a plus sign and a minus sign. The minus sign is always your negative, the plus sign is always your positive. Now this particular one has aftermarket clamps on it. These are 1/2 inch. Just loosen them up. Sometimes if they're really tight, you can take your wrench and stick it down in there, or a small screwdriver, and just spread those out a little bit, and that'll loosen that clamp up. Don't worry, you're not hurting anything. But get your negative battery cable off and tuck it out of the way where it can't make contact. The reason you disconnect the negative terminal first is that way when you're taking the positive loose, if you happen to touch anything on the vehicle that's grounded, if this is still attached and this battery has any charge in it, you will arc. You'll actually create a circuit to ground, and you can blow up the battery. You can shock yourself. You can start a fire. You don't want to do that. So you always take the negative off first. That way you break the circuit. Even if you touch this to ground, it's no longer, the battery is no longer grounded. You no longer have a circuit. Then just whoop, go wrong way. Loosen up your positive. Same thing, get in there, give her a little nudge. Just like that, she should wiggle off. Now, on Fords, they use a battery hold down here in the bottom. Now, I'm going to lift this battery out because, like I said, it's the wrong size. But you have to remove the battery hold down. And most Fords from the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s up use an 8mm bolt, or 5/16 for the hold down. Doesn't matter, an 8mm and a 5/16 will cross over. Just take that out. And that's what your hold down looks like. This side goes up against the body, this side hooks down onto the battery. Okay, now we're going to drop the battery in.
Okay. Oh.
Make sure it's all the way back in the side of the tray opposite the hold down. Drop your hold down in. Once your hold down's good and tight, you're ready to put your battery terminals back on. Before you do that, you're going to clean up, and if you have a red plastic cap or a black one, you need to remove it. But you want to clean up the inside of your battery terminals. Now this brush is just a 1/2-inch pipe fitting brush from your local plumbing supply. You can buy a battery brush from the store. I find these work great. So a lot of times you can get them in all different sizes. Just get it nice and cleaned out until there's no corrosion. It's all nice, shiny, ready to go back together.
That's what she said.
Now, as always, your positive goes back on first. Tighten up your positive terminal before you ever attach your negative. Once it's good and tight and doesn't move around, it's time to put the negative on. Now, if you set a wrench up here, you've got to watch that, because if they cross the terminals, that'd be very bad. So get your negative all cleaned up. Hopefully you can see that the hood prop's kind of in the way. That all cleaned up, drop it over the negative terminal. Tighten it up, pick up all your tools, and we're ready to see if it'll start.
Can I start it?
No.
Why?
Stick, and I don't want you killing me. Alright guys, that's how easy it is to put a battery in a vehicle. Depending on what your vehicle is, it may be a little bit different, but the only tools you really need are maybe a wrench, a few sockets, a ratchet, and you don't necessarily need a battery terminal brush or a wire brush, but it does help if they're dirty. If you don't have a brush, if you mix some baking soda and some hot water together, you can soak them in hot water, and the baking soda will take the corrosion off the terminals. It just takes a little bit longer. So do me a favor guys, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, rate the video. Questions, drop them in the comments section. And don't forget, get out there and get your hands dirty. You might have a little fun doing it. We'll see you on the next one.